Have you ever stopped to reflect on how small everyday actions can influence our prosperity and well-being? On the path of Buddhism, we learn that water, a symbol of purity and abundance, also carries profound teachings about what we should avoid in order not to attract poverty. In this video, we will explore 5 attitudes we should avoid in relation to water, which not only preserve our material wealth, but also nourish our soul. Get ready to discover how these ancient teachings can transform your life and your relationship with abundance. I am Dory. On our channel, we explore Buddhist practices and rituals that help cultivate inner peace, compassion, and wisdom. Join us to learn and listen to profound teachings and discover how to apply Buddhist philosophy in your daily life. Subscribe to the channel and transform your spiritual journey. The first attitude we should avoid in relation to water is a lack of gratitude. Water is an essential element for life, and we often take it for granted. When we waste water or treat it with disregard, we are actually disregarding the abundance it represents. In Buddhism, gratitude is a fundamental practice that connects us with the present and reminds us of the interdependence of all things. By cultivating a grateful heart for the water that nourishes us, we attract more prosperity into our lives. When you come across a glass of water, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and recognize the journey this water has taken to reach you. This simple practice can transform the way you relate to all the resources around you, broadening your perception of abundance. Another attitude to avoid is negativity about water scarcity. Instead of focusing on what is lacking, look for ways to use it wisely and inspire others to do the same. This change of perspective not only brings inner peace, but also creates a positive impact on the community around you. In addition, we must avoid being careless with water. Every drop is a manifestation of nature's wisdom. When we pollute or waste water, we are, in a way, disrespecting the life it sustains. Buddhism teaches us about impermanence and the importance of taking care of what we have. By adopting sustainable practices, such as collecting rainwater or consciously using water in our daily activities, we not only preserve this precious resource, but also cultivate a deep respect for nature. This care for water resonates in our lives, reflecting an attitude of responsibility and commitment to a more balanced world. Cultivating gratitude and care for water is just one step towards transforming your life. If you'd like to deepen your Buddhist practices and rituals, come and take part in the 21-day life-changing challenge. Discover how small changes can have a big impact. Check out the link in the first comment and be amazed. Another harmful attitude is comparison. We often compare ourselves to others in terms of their abundance, which leads to feelings of insufficiency. On the Buddhist path, we learn that each of us has a unique path and that true wealth is not measured by what others have, but by the peace and contentment we find within ourselves. By valuing what we have, rather than desiring what others have, we open our hearts to true prosperity. Practice meditating on inner abundance, recognizing your own blessings and abilities, and observe how this practice transforms your perception of wealth. Finally, avoid misinformation about water use. We are often influenced by myths or harmful practices that don't respect the origin and importance of this resource. Buddhism invites us to investigate and understand. Seek to learn about water, its sources, and how it can be used sustainably. This education not only benefits you, but also the community, by promoting a more harmonious relationship with nature. Knowledge brings clarity, and clarity paves the way for true abundance, allowing each of us to become a guardian of water and, by extension, a guardian of life. The first attitude to avoid is wasting water. In Buddhism, we recognize the interconnectedness of all things. Every drop of water we waste represents not only a resource, but also an act of disrespect for life. When we leave the tap running while brushing our teeth, for example, we are not only ignoring the scarcity that many face, but we are also sending a signal to the universe that we don't value what we have. Every action has its consequences, and by cultivating a respectful relationship with water, we reinforce our own abundance. By saving water, we create a space of gratitude and awareness, thus attracting prosperity in all areas of our lives. The second attitude to avoid is a lack of gratitude for water. The practice of gratitude is essential in Buddhism. When we drink a glass of water, instead of just consuming it, we should stop for a moment and reflect on the entire path that water has taken to reach us. Acknowledging the efforts of nature and the people involved in its purification and distribution is fundamental. By expressing gratitude, we not only honor the water, but also open our hearts to the abundance that surrounds us. Gratitude transforms our perspective and helps us realize that we are surrounded by riches that are often invisible. This change in attitude is an invitation to prosperity, because by valuing what we have, we attract more of it. The third attitude is disharmony in the way we use water. Buddhism teaches us about the importance of balance and harmony. When we use water selfishly or irresponsibly, we create a cycle of imbalance that can be reflected in our material life. If, for example, we use drinking water for activities that could be carried out with non-potable water, we are not only causing waste, but also sending out a message of disrespect for what is sacred. The practice of harmony leads us to reflect on how our actions impact the whole. By using water responsibly and consciously, we become co-creators of a more prosperous and balanced world. Finally, the fourth attitude to avoid is a lack of connection with water. We often live in such a hurry that we forget to connect with the elements around us. When drinking water, we can allow ourselves a moment of presence, observing its purity, its freshness. This connection reminds us of the impermanence of all things, one of the central lessons of Buddhism. Each sip is an opportunity for mindfulness, to be present and to recognize that each moment is a gift. When we sincerely connect with water, we not only nourish our bodies, but also our souls. This practice teaches us to value the present and the richness it brings, establishing a relationship of love and respect, which, in turn, attracts more abundance into our lives. These attitudes, when practiced with intention and awareness, not only preserve our relationship with water, but also connect us deeply with the abundance of life. In each drop, we find valuable teachings that can transform our being and our reality. The first attitude we should avoid is a lack of gratitude. When we forget to recognize and give thanks for small daily blessings, such as the water we drink, we create an emptiness within ourselves. Gratitude is a practice that connects us with the abundance of the universe. By appreciating what we have, even if it seems insignificant, we make room for more good things to come to us. In Buddhism, this recognition is fundamental to cultivating a generous heart and a peaceful mind. By practicing gratitude, we transform our perception and begin to see the richness that is already present in our lives. Every sip of water becomes a sacred moment of connection with life. Another practice to avoid is waste. In Buddhism, awareness of what we consume and how we use resources is essential. When we waste water, we not only disrespect a precious resource, but we also devalue the energy behind it. Every drop carries with it the essence of life and the interconnectedness of all beings. Waste is a reflection of a restless mind that doesn't realize the abundance that already exists. By becoming aware of our habits and practicing frugality, we not only contribute to a more sustainable world, but we also cultivate a mindset of abundance, where we learn to value what we have. This extends to all areas of life, creating a harmony that attracts prosperity. The third attitude to avoid is negativity. When we allow ourselves to be dominated by pessimistic thoughts about our financial or emotional situation, we attract more of the same. What we think and say has a profound impact on our reality. Water, in its purity, teaches us fluidity and lightness. Just as water finds its way, we must learn to flow in our lives, letting go of the weight of limiting beliefs. Buddhism invites us to cultivate a positive mindset, to see the good in every situation, and to believe that we are capable of changing our reality. When we change our mindset, we change our energy and consequently attract opportunities and prosperity. The fourth attitude we should avoid is greed. The excessive desire for material wealth takes us away from the true abundance of the spirit. Buddhism teaches that happiness does not lie in accumulation, but in generosity. When we act from love and compassion, sharing what we have, we create a network of support and connection, which enriches us in every way. Water is a symbol of generosity. It flows freely, nourishes life, and brings prosperity wherever it goes. By learning to let go, we not only free ourselves from the weight of greed, but also become channels for abundance to flow into our lives and the lives of others. Finally, we must avoid disconnection with nature. For Buddhists, nature is a manifestation of the sacred. When we neglect our role as caretakers of the environment, we lose connection with the source of our own life. Water is a vital element that reminds us of the interdependence of all beings. By taking care of the planet, we are taking care of ourselves. This brings us a sense of community and belonging, which are fundamental to prosperity. Learning to respect and honor water and all the natural resources that surround us helps us cultivate a full and meaningful life. By avoiding these attitudes, we not only preserve our material abundance, but also nourish our soul and connect to the flow of life. The first attitude we should avoid is greed. Greed is like a stagnant lake that doesn't allow water to flow through. When we hoard our resources and don't share them, we are creating a blockage that prevents the flow of prosperity. Buddhism teaches us that generosity, or dana, is a path to liberation. By sharing what we have, whether material or emotional, we create a flow that not only enriches others, but also enriches us spiritually. Therefore, cultivating generosity in our lives is fundamental to avoiding avarice, allowing wealth to flow freely like a river finding its way to the ocean. Another attitude to avoid is ingratitude. When we don't recognize the blessings we have received, even the simplest ones such as the water we drink or the air we breathe, we create a space of scarcity in our hearts. Ingratitude is a poison that, in the long run, keeps us from true abundance. Practicing gratitude is a daily exercise. When you wake up, take a moment to be grateful for everything you have, even if it seems small. This practice transforms our perspective, allowing abundance to manifest in every aspect of our lives. The water that flows through our existence becomes a reflection of our ability to recognize and value all that we already have. The third attitude to avoid is attachment. Attachment to material possessions, relationships, or even our own beliefs can trap us in a cycle of suffering. Buddhism teaches us that everything is impermanent, and when we become attached to something, we create an expectation that will inevitably lead to disappointment. Instead, we should cultivate a state of healthy detachment, where we appreciate what we have, but don't let it define us. In doing so, we make room for new opportunities and sources of abundance to enter our lives. Water, in its essence, doesn't cling to a format. It adapts and flows, showing us the importance of being flexible and open to change. The fourth attitude to avoid is a lack of connection with nature. Buddhism teaches us that we are an integral part of the entire cosmos. When we disconnect from nature, we lose a vital source of energy and inspiration. Water is an essential element of life, and when we move away from it, we also move away from our own essence. Take time to be outdoors, whether it's a walk in a park, watching a river, or simply feeling the rain on your skin. This connection reminds us that we are part of something bigger and that abundance flows from a harmonious relationship with the world around us. Finally, avoid negativity. Negative thoughts and emotions are like dirt that pollutes the water of our mind and heart. Buddhism teaches us to cultivate a clear and loving mind. Practicing meditation and mindfulness helps us to observe our thoughts, without identifying with them. In doing so, we can transform negativity into compassion and understanding, allowing our inner water to remain pure and flowing. By nurturing positive and constructive thoughts, we not only attract abundance into our lives, but also radiate this positive energy to those around us. Our attitudes towards water can be a powerful reflection of how we connect with the world around us. In Buddhism, water is seen as a vital element, a symbol of life, purity, and fluidity. When we talk about prosperity, it is essential to consider how small actions in our daily lives can influence not only our material wealth, but also our spiritual and emotional well-being. First of all, let's avoid a shortage of gratitude. When we look at water and take it for granted, we forget its sacred essence. The practice of gratitude, instead of settling for what we have, connects us with universal abundance. By being grateful for the water in our lives, we recognize its importance and thus attract more abundance. A lack of gratitude, on the other hand, can create an energetic blockage that keeps prosperity at bay. Secondly, it is vital to avoid polluting not only the water itself, but also our thoughts and words. Buddhism teaches us that our intentions and actions have a profound impact on the world. If we allow our minds to be contaminated by negative thoughts, resentment, or anger, we are polluting our own source of life. Keep your mind clear and calm, just like clear water, and you'll find that prosperity flows more freely into your life. Another important aspect is the way we use water. The practice of generosity is a central principle of Buddhism. When we use water consciously, avoiding waste, we are not only respecting this precious resource, but also cultivating a spirit of generosity. This translates into our daily lives, showing that we are capable of sharing what we have, thus attracting more abundance and spiritual wealth. In addition, we must avoid rigidity in our lives. Water is fluid and adaptable, and we too must learn to be flexible in the face of adversity. Resistance to change often generates stress and dissatisfaction, blocking our ability to see the opportunities that life offers us. By allowing ourselves to flow like water, accepting the transformations taking place around us, we create a space for new experiences and prosperity to manifest. Last but not least, let's avoid isolation. Water connects with everything around it, forming rich and vibrant ecosystems. In Buddhism, community or sangha is essential for our spiritual growth. When we isolate ourselves, we lose the opportunity to share, learn, and grow together. Cultivating healthy and meaningful relationships connects us with the abundance that exists in our midst. By coming together, we multiply our energies and attract collective prosperity. So, as we reflect on how small everyday actions can influence our prosperity and well-being, let's remember to honor water through gratitude, purity of mind, generosity, flexibility, and connection with others. We can not only preserve our material wealth, but also nourish our soul. In this way, water becomes a true symbol of abundance in our lives. The first attitude to avoid is neglecting water. In many cultures, water is seen as a source of life and vitality. In Buddhism, this perception is intensified. When we ignore the importance of water, we not only pollute our environment, but we also disrespect the energy it represents. Every drop of water carries the wisdom of the universe, and, by taking care of it, we cultivate a recognition of the interconnectedness between all beings. Therefore, by avoiding neglect, we become more aware of and grateful for what we have, thus attracting prosperity that goes beyond the material. Another attitude to avoid is waste. Buddhism teaches us to value every resource. Water, as a symbol of generosity, should be treated with respect. Wasting it is a lack of consideration not only for nature, but also for ourselves. When we throw away what could be reused, we are signaling to the universe that we don't value what we have. This lack of appreciation can be reflected in other areas of our lives, leading to scarcity and dissatisfaction. Cultivating mindfulness in relation to water use allows us to understand the value of each resource, promoting a cycle of abundance. The third attitude to avoid is contamination. By polluting water, we not only harm the environment, but also ourselves. On a deeper level, polluted water symbolizes the impure thoughts and emotions that can cloud our minds. Buddhism invites us to purify our mind and heart, just as we should purify water. By avoiding contamination, we not only protect our sources of life, but we also commit ourselves to keeping our thoughts clear and positive. This internal clarity is reflected in our external reality, attracting prosperity and harmony. The fourth attitude to avoid is indifference. Water is a common resource, and often, because of its abundance, we can ignore it. This indifference can manifest itself in our relationships and in how we treat others. The practice of compassion is fundamental in Buddhism. When we let go of indifference, we begin to see water as a symbol of connection, both with nature and with the people around us. By cultivating meaningful relationships, we not only enrich our lives, but also create an environment conducive to abundance. Interdependence is the essence of life, and by nurturing this connection, we attract prosperity in every aspect. Finally, the fifth attitude to avoid is a lack of gratitude. Water teaches us the importance of recognizing what we have. We often focus on what we lack, forgetting to be grateful for what we have already received. Buddhism emphasizes the practice of gratitude as a path to true happiness. When we express our gratitude for water and everything it represents, we are opening our hearts to receive more. This attitude not only transforms our relationship with material abundance, but also connects us to a deeper wisdom about life. By cultivating a grateful spirit, we create space for new opportunities and blessings to enter our lives.